Rosio. She's very smart. Very smart, because in her last video, she sent a message. A message most people missed. She talked about being a mother, a first-time mother. She talked about sacrifice. She talked about endurance, and she talked about her journey. But did you notice something? There was no reference to being a wife, not once. In her all videos, she has never said that she's a wife to somebody. Meanwhile, Marwa keeps saying, my wife, my son Maisha. But Rocio, she doesn't say my husband. She doesn't even say his name. She says partner. And I usually ask myself, partner in crime, because even Marwa has a partner in South Africa that he usually say that a partner when it comes to horses. And that word is not accidental. Then she says something even deeper. She says her reward after all the struggle, after leaving her country, after building from scratch, her reward was Maisha, not her husband, not in-laws, not Mercedes, not villa, not even horses. Maisha. Life, she erased the titles. She kept the survival. That is not random. That is intentional language. And tonight, we are going to decode it, because when someone changes their word, they are revealing their heart. And maybe, just maybe, Percy Sledge was right all along. Take time to know her. It is not an overtime thing. Take time to know him. It is not an overnight thing. So let us discuss about that. Let me make a deep analysis where I'm going to play different clips. Then we dive deep to this story. Let us stay tuned.
You really die as a version of you just dies when you become a mother, especially first time mother. The first time is, and we are not prepared for a lot of things, that sometimes we think like, while the pregnancy we are learning about this and this and this and this and this, and then a lot of things happen that you just had no idea that you needed to ask questions about it, so it was just a lot of information that
show love to the channel. Let us give this video a like. And today's topic, I'm going to talk about take time to know her, the culture gaps that break relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this amazing YouTube channel that goes by the name Maxwell Lumumba Africa. Maxwell Lumumba is my name, a village content creator, born and raised in a village setup with no jobs. But at the end of the day, our sustainability will depend on content creation to earn a living. That being that, for those who have not subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to other individuals, so that any day, anytime I post any video, you people get notified and watch my videos till the end without skipping any ads. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate all the individuals making sure that our threshold that was in 6,000 subscribers, we actually met our threshold, and now we are aiming higher and higher. Let me congratulate you. Let me congratulate all the organic subscribers who belong to Team Maxwell. I don't take you for granted. Let us watch my all videos. Let us actually support this YouTube channel directly, indirectly. And those people who have joined membership, I don't take you people for granted. Let me congratulate you. That being that, let me start this video with a song. For those who have that melodious voice, they can really sing this song. You're good to go. Percy Sledge song that says, take time to know her. It is not an overnight thing. Take time to know him. It is not an overnight thing. So that line alone can explain so many modern relationships. It is not an overtime thing. it is not a rush thing, it is not a content thing, and it is not a visa thing, and it is not material thing. It is time. And when you don't take time, you get culture shock, you get resentment, you get silent wounds, you get people saying I instead of we. Tonight we are going to analyze this deeply, and in our table today we are going to talk about Rocio. I'm going to talk about Marwa himself. Let me talk about the birth incidents, the cultural earthquake.
And of course I was very broken about the story of my birth, because I totally felt left alone. I felt abandoned by my partner, and that is something that I'm still healing till today. So of course my postpartum was very, very difficult, and I never really talked deeply about it. But after all that really, really sad period, but at the same time the most happy moment of my life, because I was just, I don't know, it's very difficult, but I think a mother will understand when you have no idea why you feel so sad and so happy at the same time, because you have a newborn, a baby. It's just, it brings life into your life, but you had to let go a lot of who you were in your life and everything that you had. Well, not really everything, right?
But Rocio herself said something powerful about that. She said when she gave birth in Argentina, Marwa stayed home and slept because he was tired. Let us pause. In many Western culture, especially Argentina, Europe, US, a man being present at birth is not, actually it is non-negotiable. It is emotional presence, it is partnership, it is symbolic commitment. It is, I stand with you in pain. But in many African country or African setup, birth is women territory. Midwives, mothers, aunties, they are the people who are present. Men wait outside. Different cultural programming. Now imagine a Western first-time mother, hormonal, vulnerable, emotional, expecting her partner's hand, and he is not there. That moment does not disappear. It becomes a quiet scar. And years later, it leaks out in a banana bread baking video. That's not about bread. That's about unfinished emotional business. Here in the village, like me personally, I know that the only people who are maybe allowed, maybe even in those hospitals, they're the women. But for us men, I've seen a lot of men just parading outside waiting. Their work is just to ask the doctor or the nurse involved that, has she given birth very well? Or what type of a kid or what type of a child has she given birth? Is it a boy or a baby girl? When it is a boy, you just hear, wow, a bouncing baby boy. But when it is a girl, you just hear, wow, a baby girl. So you get that men their work is just to show something like happiness, but they are not actually involved in any way. That's why even we have a lot of incidents where people say that children are being stolen in hospitals. We get that some people say that their children are being exchanged because we don't have people who go there, especially the men, so that actually to look what is happening. Leaving that aside, let me just say that here in Africa things works very differently. That is why I actually said about that song that let us know about culture. Let us not rush everything down. That is what we are now seeing this happening. Let me talk about the language partner.
When it comes to my partner,
not husband. She uses the word partner, not husband, not baby father, not my man, partner. Language reveals psychology. A pattern can mean partner in crime, partner in manipulating people in YouTube, a business partner, co-parent partner, transactional alliance, shared responsibility partner, or romantic equal partner. But when sometimes or someone repeatedly avoids emotional titles, it signals distance. Word matters. When someone says, I built this place, or I built this space, instead of we build this place, this is not grammar, this is identity separation. Because Rosio herself has come out clearly and say that I as Rocio, not that we as Marwa and Rocio. So that means that all the flowers, she's taking them without recognizing the slavery or the enslavement that Marwa himself helped her. Let me talk about I built this alone.
In terms of that we only have, it's just I feel unstoppable after that, you know. I feel unstoppable. And all the things, you know, I built this place when I was 37 weeks pregnant. I built this entire place, you know. I just pushed myself so hard to do a lot of things, and I don't really talk. I mean, I know many of you have seen the journey and maybe you haven't, but yes, I built this place almost from scratch. Let's say it was 20% done.
She said she built a place from scratch alone. Let us analyze carefully. Sometimes when someone says I built this, it means I carry the emotional weight, not the content, not a physical labor, but the emotional endurance. So she also said that her reward was Maisha.
Maisha means life, because that's what he is to me. That's what he is to me, and that's what he has brought to me, definitely. I also feel like he was really meant to be born, and that's why everything happened in my life. Of course, he has chosen me and Marwa to be his parents, you know. So everything that happened perfectly, and it needed to be that way. So I don't judge those things.
Not in-laws, husband, villa, Mercedes-Benz, horses, just Maisha. Why use the word reward? Reward implies suffering. Reward implies endurance. Reward implies sacrifice. And what did she endure? Moving continent, cultural adjustment, public scrutiny, family, ecosystem, shock. So when someone says, Maisha was my reward, I survived, not I celebrated, that difference is very, very, very powerful. That is why it makes me speak about something. If there is somebody who should be given flowers, it is Marwa. Those people were living in a junkyard that we could see it on camera. If it is not for Marwa, let us give Marwa flowers for that. Let us not maybe talk negativity about Marwa all the time, because give flowers to those people who the flowers belong to them. Let me speak about African vast Western expectational gap. In Kenya, many men were not present at childbirth 20 years ago. It was not emotional neglect. It was cultural norm. In the West, if you are not there, it feels like abandonment. Two cultures, no conversation, no time taken. Percy Sledge was right. You must take time, because culture is deeper than love. That is why I've done a lot of videos explaining to us that the reason why Rocio's marriage or Rocio's relationship with Marwa failed, it is because of not knowing other person's culture. Rocio herself never learned about Marwa's culture, that is African culture. Marwa himself never took time so that he can actually educate himself about Rosio's culture. So that one brings a lot of difference. I did a video about that where I explained the reason why marriages fail here in the village, because we have seen a very good number of relationships surviving, especially those people who marry from maybe Western countries here to the village. We have seen a good number of them surviving, but still we have seen a good number of them diminishing instead of survival, and the reason is not knowing other person's culture. And let me talk about meeting first, Mexico to Kenya. Rocio and Marwa, they met in Mexico. Soon after, Kenya. International romance, exciting adventure, but where was the slow knowing? Dating in the same city, meeting extended family gradually, seeing each other in normal life. When relationships start in travel mode, you fall in love with the trip, excitement, foreignness, and the lifestyle, not necessarily the person's cultural core. That is why slow relationship last. First one burn bright and then reveals gap, and that is how the relationship between Rocio and Marwa ended. Let me just say it ended, and I've given my reasons why this relationship is not working and it will never work. I did videos about that. I've seen a lot of minions and cult members saying that don't speak negatively about this relationship, but now it is very evident. Rocio herself has come out and she has said that these and these, the man was not even there when I was giving birth. That tells you that the relationship was over. And there is a video I'm going to make about trapping. Dimwango, she's trapped. Rocio, Marwa himself, he's trapped. And I'm going to elaborate about that. These people never took time to learn each other. The same way, we know Dimwango as doing videos in everything that she does. She never showed us that she is dating this man. We were only seeing that you get that she was putting some blood images or some images like having some emojis in the face that this is my husband. Yeah, just seeing the body, no face. And she did that severally. No videos with the man. And she met this man in Mombasa. Then you know what happened. For those who are following the other side, you people know what happened. Now, Dimwango, she went to Poland. No cultural learning, nothing. That is why we can see what is happening. She never took time to learn this man's culture. She never took time this man to learn her culture. That is the same mistake that we are witnessing in this Rocio Marwa's thing. Same as to we call him Bushman. The same relationship and cultural things about let's say the Western culture and the African culture. That is why even for that relationship never worked. But for Bushman and Gabi, it is somehow complicated. For those who have been watching them, it is somehow complicated. For those who know, they really know what I'm talking about. So let me now talk about the word psychology.
Well, I was just, Maisha was it was impossible. I really needed to put all my energy in being there, I really needed to be there. That's why when you have a baby, you have at least 3 months, for at least fully dedicated.
Why say, all my struggles led to my reward. That language suggests I paid a price when someone feels they paid more emotionally than the other. Resentment, quiet grows. Even if they smile on camera, even if they bake banana bread, even if they decorate the wall, sometimes I is a cry. See my sacrifice. Marwa himself slaved himself to go in Argentina. Actually, Marwa is the one who changed that family. And because Rocio got what she needed, that is why I'm calling it a trap. Rocio got what she needed. She sacrifices, even giving Marwa a child, because she was up to something like a long-term goal. And if there will be any downfall, the downfall of Marwa will be Rocio himself. Leave alone those stories that you're talking about, I don't know, reactor, about what. The downfall of Marwa will be Rocio. Because Rocio did a calculated move. So, remember, Marwa himself is the one who changed that junkyard to something appreciable. So, Rocio herself maybe to put some pictures on the wall, to put some photos on the wall, to maybe buy some cardboard, I don't know what. That doesn't change anything. If it is not for Marwa, those ones could not be utilized. So that is Marwa's sacrifice. So let me talk about freedom, being her own boss.
I am free. I'm a freelancer, and I have all the time for Maisha. The fact that I am my own boss, I wanted to put myself to work again.
She also talked about being free, being her own boss. That tells you something. When independence become emphasized publicly, it sometimes signals something very different. I had no reclaim to myself. Freedom statement often come after feeling constrained. I remember doing a video where I was talking that Rocio, she feels now very happy because she has that all freedom to go even to the market, buying anything that she feels like, going there, walking through the market and selecting which item should I buy for myself and doing payment to that item. Remember, I even say that when Rocio was in the village, every time that she came out of that villa, she must be having somebody like a supervisor escorting her to the market, being ridden on motorbike by herself. So that tells us that Rocio herself, it was like being in isolation. She was never happy. She was like bored all the time. She was moodless. So when I'm talking about freedom, that statement often comes after feeling constrained. Let me talk about cross-cultural pattern. We have seen similar patterns. Kenyan men plus Western women. Western men plus Kenyan women. Cultural mismatch often show in gender expectation, emotional expression, public versus private life, financial structure, family involvement. So without deeper conversations earlier, problem wait silently. Let me talk about, for those who maybe have seen some successful these cultural difference. Yes, I have to acknowledge that we have several of them, and we have to appreciate. Yeah, hello. Yes, yes, Shamo. Yes, yes. Yes, Fugu huwa analeta. Leo nadhani ipo. Hebu acha ni confirm then nakupigia simu sahi. Ni sawa, nakupigia tu simu sahi. Yeah, another call. Sorry for that. Sorry for those calls, because sustainability in our life, we don't depend only on YouTube. We have to look at other ways. So a call like that, I couldn't miss. Yeah. So let us talk about Percy Sledge principle applied. Percy Sledge said that take time to know her, not take time to impress her, take time to travel with her, take time to log with her. And that is what Marwa did, because Marwa never took time to know Rocio. He took time to impress her, actually to buy her materialistic things like the horses, because even those horses, because Rocio loved horses, so he thought that bringing horse to that compound will actually make Rocio captive to that compound. So when even if he could be doing his own travels, he knows very well that Rocio could remain back in the compound and look after those horses or managing everything in that homestead. So, and even never took time to travel. Actually, he took time to travel with her. We could see Rocio and her. They visited Africa. They went to Argentina. A lot of things were being done. So that tells us that actually he had taken time to log with her, know her, because her childhood, her expectation, her pain, her cultural assumption, that takes years, not flights. And that is what we saw. Let me talk about public relationship and performance. When relationship becomes content, pressure increases. When cameras are always on, authenticity, emotional processing decreases. You perform strength, you perform unity until one day a baking video becomes therapy. And this baking video is a symbol. For those who know what symbolism is, it is a symbol. Let me talk about the we versus I indicator.
But yes, I built this place almost from scratch. Let's say it was 20% done. The rest I built it in 1.5 months or 2 months, and I was 37 weeks pregnant.
In a healthy marriage, language shifts naturally to we when people feel separated emotionally. I returns, I built, I survived, my reward. That shift tells a story, because everything that Rosio talks about, she talks about her I. She never includes anything like we, I, and Marwa, and actually elaborated about that. Let me talk just something like deeper lesson. This is bigger than Marwa, bigger than Rosio, bigger than Dimwango, bigger than anyone, even Pedro himself. It is about rushing what we call love. It is about ignoring culture. It is about assuming affection equals compatibility. Compatibility requires value alignment, cultural translation, emotional presence, shared expectation. Without that, even success feels lonely. That is why I usually say that. Maybe in future when I'll be thinking about marriage, if I choose to marry a Kenyan, that is well and good. I'm not only restricted that I have to select a Kenyan girl. No, I can even choose to take a Western girl, of which before even get married to her, I have to do what we call cultural education. I have to learn something about their culture. She has to learn something about my culture, so that when we mingle, we intermingle and extramingle. We know that this is what it entails when it comes to this culture. This is what it entails when it comes to my culture. So let me say this. Percy Sledge, was not just singing. He was warning. Love is not a passport, relocation, a Mercedes, a villa, a viral couple channel. It is a slow understanding. Take time to know her. Take time to know him, because when you don't, years later the truth comes out softly while baking banana bread. Thank you for now. Let us meet in the next video. Goodbye.